And I'm Judge Emanuela Groves, and I'm the chairperson of the Get On Track program. I'd like to welcome you all on this very, very, very special occasion. They have a sign up when you go down Ontario that says, "Be a witness." But I think it's more importantly to be a witness of people who are accomplishing things and when it's more than just a game. So we want to applaud our graduates. We want to encourage them that this is just the first step in so many other good things that you can accomplish. And I want to encourage you, that sense of pride, the sense of accomplishment that you feel today will carry you and encourage you to do more and better things as you go along in your life.
I remember back in the day when most black families had some type of chain of command in the family. There was mom, there was dad, or both. Especially there was Big Mama. But time has passed and there is no more Big Mama. And you wonder why? Because we've got babies having babies. With these babies having babies, we've got a lot of kids out there getting in trouble. We know what the problem is. How do we fix it? Tonight on Your Voice, Your Choice, we're going to show you how to fix it. Hi, I'm your host, Tony Owens, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Emmett Smith. As an athlete, I know how important it is to protect yourself from injury. That's why I've teamed up with the American Association of Orthodontists. Wearing protective gear can reduce the risk of injury and keep you in the game. Help kids play it safe.
When you donate goods in response to an international disaster, it's expensive.
They have to cross the sea, pass through customs, be inspected, sorted, then finally delivered.
And often they arrive too late to help, making your good intentions feel a little empty.
There is a better way.
Cash donations are fast, simple, and allow professional relief workers to purchase supplies close at hand.
Cash is best. Learn more at CIDI.org.
To Your Voice, Your Choice. Once again, my name's Tony Owens, your host for the evening. You know, I feel elated to be here today. I've got some special guests. I've got judges sitting around me, so I've got to be on my best behavior. I've got Judge Emanuela Groves and Judge Lauren Moore. Welcome, ladies, to the show.
Thank you.
You know, you heard my opening where I was talking about we have all these problems out here. And I heard it through the grapevine that you guys have a solution for the problems. Young people before they hit the penal system, and how you're going to help them out. What's the name of the program?
The name of the program is Get On Track.
Okay, and when was Get On Track started?
Started back in 2000. The planning process started around 2006, and we had our first graduation in 2007. We now will have another graduation October 21st, and as a result of that, we will have over 250 people having secured their GEDs or high school diploma.
Judge Moore, give people a little bit of insight about Get On Track. What actually is Get On Track?
Okay, well, unfortunately, I have to correct you. They are in the penal system already, to the extent that the Cleveland Municipal Court is the penal system.
Okay.
That means they've been charged with some kind of a crime, a misdemeanor, and when we get them in front of us and they have a case like a driving under suspension or some other kind of traffic or some other low-level misdemeanor, we ask them, hey, did you finish school? Did you finish school? You have to be in Get On Track. Get On Track is a program we established for dropouts, people who have a case in Cleveland Municipal Court, and they have dropped out of school, and they don't do anything all day. They get on track, and they get intensive GED training, they get lifestyle training, they get employment training, because it's a holistic approach to being successful. And so the program basically starts with an orientation, which is the last Monday of every month, and we have motivational speakers. The young men are required to wear shirts and ties. We tell them where they're going to school, somewhere convenient to where they live. We take all the excuses out of the equation. We have schools all times of the day, all days of the week. They're required to go 4 days a week. And so we really try to set them up for success. Mm-hmm. And so they might come and say, well, I have kids, I have jobs, and we have an answer for that. Mm-hmm. Then you go to this program because they meet me, or you go to this program because you can bring your kids. And so they get their GED, and hopefully they get their GED in like 4 to 6 months.
Hmm. Judge Grove, what's the people standing in front of you saying, well, I'm going to go to jail?
We have only had like 1 or 2 people initially. Our probation officer will talk with the person. So when we have our orientation, we have approximately 40 people in the courtroom at that time. So our probation officer would tell us that so-and-so says he does not want to participate. So by the time we finish, we will call that person out and say, Mr. So-and-so, sorry to say you don't want to participate in this program. You understand? If you don't, that you're going to go to jail. Oh, no, that's not the case, Your Honor. I do want to participate. So, as you know, the saying goes, the spirit is willing and the flesh is weak. We will have 100% indicate that they're going to do this program, but the reality is that we probably will only have 30% of the individuals who are orientated that will actually finish and complete the program. And at first, we were very...
Well, the ones who don't finish the program have to do the time.
Well, we do it on a case-by-case basis. So hopefully no one is listening that is in the program. I mean, that's a threat. But, when we tell them, we can send you to jail. You can go to jail. You can do your 30 days, do your 90 days. But you're going to be in the same condition that you were before.
Right.
So the biggest penalty is not the fact that you're going to jail. The biggest penalty is that you're going to walk out of here in the same position that you were when you first came in here.
Okay.
And it's our position, and we want to challenge them to move forward in their lives. So, yeah, we can take your money. We can send you to jail. But are you better off? We want you to be better off. And so the penalty is you walk away, and, it's hard to call someone ignorant, but ignorance is the lack of knowledge. So do you want to stay in your ignorant state, or do you want to try to move forward and have a better life? And so the biggest penalty is you will continue to be uneducated. You will continue to be poor. You will probably continue to become a part of the system. That's the biggest penalty.
Well, myself, I can't even fathom, if you're going to give me a choice of going to jail or bettering myself,
Right.
furthering my education. Yeah.
It's an opportunity. It's not a punishment.
I'll take that. So how long does the program last?
Until they're finished.
Well, I mean, what's the ultimate goal at the end?
To get the GED. To get
Okay.
the GED.
All right.
And
So
hopefully a job.
Okay.
Hopefully maybe enroll in Tri-C or go into some vocational program or something like that. We want them to continue, not think that the GED is the destination, but you're going to continue and be a lifelong learner and see what you can do. You want to expose them to all kinds of possibilities. But I would like to say we do make examples of people. We can't say everybody, but at those orientations and the compliance hearings, we do make examples of somebody. Somebody has to go.
to jail?
Yes. We find out
Somebody's going to jail.
Somebody's going to jail. You're not going to school, you got to go to jail. You're giving the teacher a hard time, you got to go to jail.
Wow.
Something like that. We let people know. We say, well, the teacher said that you on your cell phone the whole time.
Well,
And you're not going every day.
It
So,
sounds like tough love to me.
Absolutely.
And that's what a lot of young black people need, is some tough
Absolutely.
love. Like I said earlier, we don't have the leadership in the home anymore like we used to. I think we as black people need to turn around and help our brothers and sisters in any way possible. And it sounds like that you ladies are doing that by sending them to get on track,
Right.
which is a
We want
good
them to
thing.
succeed.
Yeah. One of the things when they go to this, are they encouraged to go on to college afterwards? Are they pushed to go to college? Are they counseled by counselors or anything like that in the school?
Well, Project Learn, which is one of our biggest partners in terms of the majority of our students go through Project Learn, and the instructor there, Sandra Garth, really makes a good faith effort. She has had a number of students go to Central State as a result of coming through our program.
That's awesome.
She encourages them, and we do partner with Tri-C. And Tri-C will also encourage individuals to pursue their education, because this is really just the first step.
Wow, this is the first step. Listen, we'll be right back. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to give you some more information. We'll be right back.
At this time, we are honored to have a great person who you all know is probably one of the greatest football players of all time. He was a great actor, and most importantly, he is a great humanitarian. He created the American program for at-risk youth, which is a program of social development which is greatly needed, especially in urban societies like ours. And he's been a very, very, very important person to our Get on Track program. He's been to every graduation. And I think he's had some challenges this year, and we didn't expect him to come, and he is here. So please have a great welcome for Mr. Jim Brown.
I'm a big believer in the power of we. It's time for you to raise your hand. Go to serve.gov and get involved in something you believe in.
We weren't born to follow.
Are you with me?
Welcome back to Your Voice, Your Choice. You want to go to jail or you want to go to school? We're here again, my guests, Judge Groves and Judge Moore. You know, I was thinking about it when we were taking a break. How many parents are going to be calling the station talking about they want their kids to get into this program? Is that possible, or do they have to catch a case to get into the program?
Unfortunately, you do have to catch a case. You get caught driving without your license or something like that. And we get that question quite a bit when we go to community meetings, because a lot of the mothers and the grandmothers, my grandson needs to be in that. But we don't want to encourage anybody to do anything, because everybody does not refer their defendants to the program. There's only a certain number of judges who really do it. So there's no guarantee that you might get a judge who feels as strongly about the program as we do, who will put you in that program.
Well, how many judges do we have that are participating in the program, which is a good question.
Well, we get, a lot of them try to do it, but on a consistent basis, there's probably about 4 of us.
Out of how many judges?
12, 13.
Wow. Have they not bought into the program? I mean, it sounds like a great program.
I think in theory they have, but you know, this is our baby.
Okay.
And so, you know, we feel very, very strongly about this. We want it to be successful. And so we are always on the lookout for somebody who we could put in the program. And so I guess we're just more vigilant. But I think that everybody thinks it's a good program and they support it in theory. And but we need bodies.
Okay. Well, Judge Grove, how many people have been through this program already?
We probably have had close to over 700 who have at least been oriented.
And remind me again, the program has been in existence for how long?
4 years.
Wow.
But back to, you know, sometimes when I'm sitting there and I see a person and it's like, okay, now they're here just for not driving without a valid driver's license. And I'm making them go back to school. So some judges may feel that that requirement is pretty overwhelming for the level of offense. But I've come to the position, and I believe that the 4 of us that refer on a regular basis, that we have a responsibility to impact our community. We have a responsibility to ensure that if you come before me, yeah, you may have just been driving without a valid driver's license, but we have found in the 4 years that our program has been in existence that we've had 9 people killed. The people that participate in this program, they really represent the fabric of our community.
Right,
So
right.
we've had people who have been killed, people who have been shot, people who have been shot, people who have been convicted of felony offenses. So this is an opportunity to really impact the lives. So the question becomes, you know, to what degree are you going to impose additional requirements, use resources for a person who is just driven without a valid driver's license? But Cleveland is the poorest community, one of the poorest communities in our country. And so it's, yeah, you only drive without a valid driver's license, but there's no question that people who drive without a valid driver's license, they're more likely to because they don't have a high school education. They're more likely to because of the issues of poverty. And so, you know, it kind of is like a gateway. So if we can impact and influence and maybe stop that person, and for some, that may be the only offense that they may have. But, you know, to some degree, unfortunately, we cannot legislate ignorance. We cannot legislate people failing to live up to their full potential. But if we have an opportunity to impact and change a person's life, I think that we have a responsibility to do that. Because otherwise, we're sending them back into our community in the same condition that they came in.
Well, you know, again, I'm probably going to thank you for doing this program 100 times, but I feel that by no means is this hurting our community, because if somebody comes in, to me, in my mind, this is just my opinion, if someone comes in and they're caught without a proper driver's license and they don't have a GED, to me, that's just the beginning of a problem. That's going to fester into something bigger and bigger. Because if they get away with that, then something else is going to come up. Where now you have the opportunity to reach out and pay it forward. That's what you're doing. You're paying it forward.
If you don't have a license, then you don't have insurance. And then if you don't have insurance, you're going to keep driving. And you know, you end up paying all this money. You're digging this hole. You're going to keep on driving. And before you know it, you're going to do other things that will escalate. And at some point, some people run from the police because they don't have a driver's license.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's all kinds of ways this can escalate. So it's not just saying, I don't have a driver's license this time. And, you know, we get people who have 15 no driver's license cases. You know, so it's not just, you know, isolated incidents and things like that. And we realize that, you know, sometimes it's more difficult for people to get a driver's license. They don't have driver's ed in the schools anymore. Insurance is required and it's very expensive. You have to get SR-22 bonds. You know, it's very, very expensive. So we recognize that. But, you know, it makes it easier if you are educated. Then you can be employed better. You don't have to be as unemployed as you are or underemployed. And so, you know, having no driver's license is just a symptom sometimes of the
Correct.
Of the deeper problem.
You know, like I stated earlier, we got babies having babies out here. You know, they hang out at the same club, mom and kids hanging out at the same nightclub. So they're getting no guidance, no leadership. Nobody had the opportunity to turn around and reach out to them and say, you know what, there's another way in life. You can change your lifestyle. So now, you got a brother or sister catching a case. And this is a blessing for them because if they come up in front of one of you judges or the other 2 or 3, how many ever it is, they may have the opportunity to relive their lives and restart it again, which I think is fantastic. I'm just curious. I've watched through my studies in the school system where more girls are getting in trouble than boys. Do you see that in courtroom?
Yes. The females are beginning to catch up. As a matter of fact, I had a case today, and this woman had like 9 unresolved driving under suspension cases.
Wow.
And there was a time, I think, that the females were not as likely to be brought into the criminal system, but we're beginning to see an increase. Although still there's an overwhelming majority of black males that are in our program. So we do have the females to some degree, and we're seeing them on a more regular basis in terms of being brought in as a defendant. And, you know, with that, if we do have the females, you know, we ask both the males and the females, do they expect their children? Because the majority of the people who participate in this program, they have children. And we ask them, you know, do you expect your child to graduate from high school? And they all raise their hands. Wow. And it's like, well, if you expect your child to graduate, then how do you have the authority to require them to do something that you haven't done? Because to some degree, you're telling them that this is something that is hard, this is something that is probably impossible, this is something that is so difficult that mommy or daddy didn't do it, but they expect you to do it.
Right. Well, that's all I was about to say. They're telling them it's not important. You know, you say, I'm living a good life, I don't have my degree. You know, I didn't go ahead, and that's what the parents are setting these examples. You know, hopefully a lot of the viewing audience is going to, you know, take this to the heed. They don't, like you said, they don't have to catch a case to get some help. They can actually get out there. There are other organizations that can help people right now. They don't have to wait to get in trouble, you know, which is exciting. So what is the age group of people that you see? Since you're talking about driver's license, I'm figuring they got to be 16 and above. Anybody 18. Younger? 18 and above?
To be adults.
Okay, so no kids.
No, we don't deal with juveniles.
Okay.
So 18 to about 35, and I believe Judge Patton put somebody in who was 60 or
Never too late to get on track, right?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
60 years old?
And the 60-year-old was determined to do it. I don't think he ever did, but, you know, he made some really good pronouncements to try to motivate the others. So,
60 years old.
Yeah, I believe that was the
well, you know, I guess there is no age limit on going back and educating yourself.
Right, it's not.
You know, you just have to want to. Again, are there mentors in the program? Like, let's say, for example, if a young man or a young lady gets into the program, are there mentors in the program that's going to help them out? And I'll tell you what, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Got a lot of interesting information for you. Right back.
Look, Timmy's in trouble again.
I told you to stay out of here! Come on, loser!
Oh, I never see that happen.
If you see abuse or neglect, learn what you can do at BeHumane.org.
You know what, unfortunately, you got to get in trouble to be a part of this program, and we don't want you to get in trouble. We just want you to understand how we've got some great people out here doing some great things, and these judges are doing fantastic work. Before we left, we were talking about mentors in the program. Do we have mentors in the program that may grab a young lady or a young man, pull them to the side, and try to ask them what their goals are and like to give them some direction where they can go after they get their GED.
Well, I think that to an extent all of us are mentors, but we do have some people who take a special interest because they have more time to deal with them on an individual level. Like our director is David Vance, a young man. We have Wallace Green, who does a very good cultural video presentation for them. We have Judge Patton, because Judge Patton, he loves this program, but we need a male in this program because 90% of the participants are male, and they need a male presence because we're two females. They usually live with females, and so it's important that they have a strong male figure to mentor them and to motivate them. And so, to the extent that Judge Patton does that, he's a mentor also. And so we have the director, we have Wallace Green as a probation officer, we have Spencer, he's a probation officer, and they get a lot of one-on-one with them. And so they call them up on the phone and tell them their problems, and they call them back and tell them how they can work their way out of the problems and things like that. So they do always have a lifeline in the municipal court. And so I guess those would be considered the mentors. And, even some of the bailiffs, a lot of the young men have never, ever, ever learned how to tie a tie. And as I said earlier, they're required to wear shirts and ties to all court appearances. And sometimes the ties are all askew, and they don't still know how to do it. And so we have the bailiffs, we just take them out and show them how to tie a tie. So to the extent that that's a mentoring project, that's a mentoring project also. And, I think everybody who sees these young people come through, they want them to succeed, they want them to get their GED, they want them to be better people, they want them to project a more positive image. And we all try to get them to do that, because that's what our program is about. And it is holistic. The GED is the biggest piece, but we want them to be better at their jobs. We want them to be more equipped to find a better job. We want them to have better values, that value system. We want them to know the value of being able to get up on time, to be true to your word. They say a pledge at the end of the orientation and the hearing, the compliance hearing. And we always say, hey, you don't take a pledge that you don't mean to keep. And I think at the time everyone means to keep it, but they don't keep their word. And they tell everybody, yes, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And so, we want them to value, your word. Your word is your bond. You say you're going to do it, you should do it. Do it for yourself, do it for your kids. And just a whole lot of things they need to learn that they've never been indoctrinated with.
One of the additional, when we also talk about mentors, one of the additional components of the program, it took us about 6 months to really plan all the components of the program. And when we were sitting in the room and as we were planning with the educators, it was like, what is going to be different this time? They went through school, they didn't finish. They're going to go because we tell them. And we know that there has to be a assessment. Well, you got to do it for yourself at some point, So there is a component with the Mayor I Can. When we first started to plan the program, we were at a meeting where Jim Brown was at, and he was talking about going into the belly of the beast and how he goes out into the community to really challenge the young people. He has a program, he has a curriculum, and that curriculum is taught by James Box here in the city of Cleveland. So that is an additional component, and Mr. Box gives a certain level of street cred that we don't have. He can take something to a next level that it won't be offended coming from him, but if we were to say it, it would be offensive. And so, he's walked in their footsteps. He has overcome the obstacles. He's had the issues and challenges of his mother being a drug addict, and the challenges of the absence of the male in the home. So he can bring a certain level of a component of the program that can really require the individuals to begin to do a self-evaluation. We have to deal with the hand that we're dealt. And so, no, you're not responsible if your mother was a drug addict. You're not responsible if you don't know who your father is. But at some point, you have to take responsibility for your life. And you can say, yes, this happened to me, but I'm not going to allow that to be an obstacle. I'm going to overcome that, and it's going to make me a stronger person because of it. And so he provides. He has bonded with the individuals. He has volunteered to pick them up. When we would have the sessions, the school would close, and they would be in the parking lot, continue to talk and to interact and relate. Because we do recognize that additional personal component that has to be in place to really begin to influence and change a person's life. Because we are talking about a transformation.
Well, here's a question for both of you ladies. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I think they need a program like this in Detroit, Michigan. How can we get this implemented? And we got to make this short, but how can we get this implemented in other cities to get other judges to do the same thing, start a program like this?
I think we have a model. I think we have a model that can be duplicated. This is the only program like this in the country. So I think that as we begin to show the success, and it really is just pulling the resources together and taking it a step further when you tell a person to go get their GED, to follow up on it, to let them know, yeah, I'm telling you, but I'm going to hold you accountable because you're going to come back to me. You're going to look in my face and tell me why you haven't gone to school. You're going to tell us, when you're going to get your GED. And when you mention the role, we come off the bench. We don't sit on the bench because we don't want to seem like we're sitting up and we're talking down to them. Just as close as we're talking to you, we will have that level of contact with the participants in the program. And at the end, they do want to hug us because we do bond. And I think they do see that we care.
How many people have you seen on the street where you've gotten a hug?
And they don't want to disappoint us. They really don't. They really want to please us.
Wow.
It's amazing.
This program is amazing. Once again, it's called Get on Track. We're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to wrap it up. But ladies, thank you for coming so much.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Get on track. You got to catch a case to get there.
Plant inspiration. Provide youth with the creative tools and skills to cultivate it. And you'll be amazed at what can grow. Adobe Youth Voices and the Peapod Foundation. Learn more at plantandinspire.org.
Ladies, I just want to take one more time to thank you so much for coming out. And again, I meant what I said. How can we get this incorporated in other cities, even the surrounding cities that are here locally where they can feed off your model? So is there a number or somehow that other people can contact and get more information about the program?
And you can talk to our PR person, is Ed Flash Farrick, and he's at 664-4710.
Give me that number again.
664-4710, 216 area code.
Thank you again. It's been a great night. We've got a lot of education, finding out how the homes that don't have any structure